Good evening and welcome to the Southbridge Special Joint Town Council Southbridge School Committee meeting of Monday, August 31st, 2020, 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being conducted via remote participation. I'm calling this meeting to order pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18 of the Governor's March 15, 2020 order, imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. You lost me?
Yeah, for a second.
Still here?
Cut out.
Okay.
Yeah.
This order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This joint special town council Southbridge School Committee meeting is being conducted via remote participation only. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in this order. A reminder that persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by watching Southbridge Cable Access Channel 192 or by the remote information noted below. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website at www.ci.southbridge.ma.us as soon as we are able to. A reminder that a roll call vote is required for all votes taken under this order. I now call this meeting to order. As we did in the previous meeting, let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with life, liberty, and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Secretary. Town Council members.
Councilor Adams.
Present.
Councilor Catrona.
Present.
Councilor Daniel.
Present.
Councilor Dow.
Present.
Councilor Jovan. Councilor Lazo.
Excused.
Councilor Marquetti.
Present.
Councilor Ryan.
Present.
And Councilor Steves.
Present.
Okay.
Southbridge School Committee.
Ms. Shea.
She said present.
Okay, sorry about that. Mr. Murch.
Present.
Mr. Domo. Maybe I said that wrong. Or is he absent?
I would do absent. I don't see him responding.
Mr. Bishop. Miss Angers.
Here.
Mr. D'Amelio.
Present.
Okay. And that's it.
Martina, you're muted.
Okay, we have a quorum of both bodies present. This is to review the following candidate request to fill a school committee vacancy effective immediately through June 8th, 2021 until the next town election date, according to the Southbridge Home Rule Charter, Chapter 3, Section 3-2-1. The candidate that applied, the one and only candidate, was James Malello. So first off, I guess we entertain for Mr. Malello if he wants to introduce himself and reasons why he wishes to be appointed to the school committee. Mr. Malello?
Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm new to this.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just I've lived in Southbridge for 7 years, a property owner for 5, and I have 3 young children, and I just I saw with the turnout of the election, I saw the 2 seats, and what really inspired me is Dr. DiMeglio stepping up and taking the other seat, and I said, to myself, I said, Southbridge deserves better. Southbridge deserves people to step up, and I think that I can do that if nobody else wants to.
Okay, thank you. questions from, I guess we'll start with Councilor Steves.
I guess the one quick question I have for you, Mr. Melillo, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes.
Is first of all, would you have any interest in running for office if you get the seat?
Well, yeah, I would have to see the situation. So I would want to see the fit. I would not want to run again if there was a lot of contention. If I got on the board and then it turned out that, I was just not participating in the way that the other council members would want me to, then I wouldn't want to continue that. But if there's productive conversation, if there's productive transparency, then I don't see why I wouldn't run again.
Okay. And a follow-up question to that is, what's your take on the situation involving the receivership?
Well, I don't think anybody wants to be under receivership. But, at this point, and obviously the town has had a couple receivers to this point, but this receiver has been here for about 2.5 years, as far as I understand it. And, he has a long-term plan in place. And I think at this point, it's the school committee's responsibility to show trust that we can work with a receiver now and a superintendent in the future, and hopefully just provide more productive conversation and outcomes. And unfortunately, I will just have the plan itself will be done by the receiver, but I mean, that's all that we can do right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shea? Do you have any questions, Earl?
Yeah. You are aware that we have no power and that the receiver has all the power. So it's been very difficult for us in some cases to work with him. Vice Chair Andrew and I are trying really, really hard to start to open that door. So I hope you would be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I said before, I mean, at the beginning, I completely get the idea that we would want, when you first get taken over, maybe you try to fight against it. But at this point, we've been under receivership for years, and the state's just not going to automatically give us the power of the schools back. We have to show that we can work with the receiver and not just be antagonistic, and so as much as that may be painful to some people, we have to. It's the only thing we can do. Like you said, we have no power, so we kind of just have to play nice and do what we can do.
Okay. You all set, Martina?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Murch? Do you have any questions? Andrew?
Thank you. You said you have 3 young kids. Are they currently attending any Southbridge schools?
They are not. They're very young. I mean, 2 are below the school age, and 1, obviously, with the pandemic, we're looking at home options this year. So.
Okay, and there were many positions that were up for election this past election that had open seats. What made you pick the school committee in particular as opposed to some of the other open vacancies that we have on some of the other boards?
Well, I mean, I do believe that it has something to do with you want to feel a little bit invested, and obviously with children, and I mean the schools obviously we all know are dragging the property values down in the town. If we can be part of a turnaround, everybody wins in town, and so. Look, I mean, it may be little because, like I said, nobody wants to join the board because there's no power. I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot and try to help out and serve the town in any way I can.
Thank you very much. That's all, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan? Councilor Ryan, I'm sorry.
No question. Okay. No.
Thank you. Go to Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Thank you for stepping in and take that position. And I agree with you regarding a lot of people afraid to get any position in any board. So I support them with no problem. Thank you for stepping up and apply for that vacancy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Catroni, you have anything?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. School committee member Angers, do you have anything?
I have one quick question, since Andrew asked two of mine. Are you and your wife involved in the schools at all? A teacher, helper, aide, anything like that? Any kind of background?
No. I mean, we don't have any history with the Southbridge public school system. I mean, like I said before, we have 3 young children. That's a pretty big job for my wife. I wouldn't want to burden her with too much else. Myself, I mean, I didn't go to Southbridge schools. Like I said, I moved to town 7 years ago, but I mean, you have to start somewhere.
We all set up? Thank you. We'll go to Councilor Adams. Do you have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, just a couple statements. Just want to thank James for reaching out here a few weeks ago and asking some questions, and then as well as just asking about the availability of the position. I appreciate the honest answers that you provide right now, and the willingness to invest in our community. Even though you don't have that experience behind you, doesn't mean that you can't play catch up or you can't be good at what you're doing. So I highly recommend him at this point, based on our conversations that we've had in the past and here in the past few weeks. And thank you again, James, for volunteering.
Thank you. Councilor Marquetti, you have anything?
Yes. First of all, Mr. Melillo, thank you for stepping up and volunteering for this position. I hope you get a chance to sit down and talk to the receiver. He's a pretty smart guy. And I think he really wants the best for Southbridge. Has a good plan going, and I'm glad that you want to work with him and be respectful of the receiver. The other thing is, I just want to say that I have been looking at the home values lately, and believe me, they are skyrocketing. So the school is not dragging the price of the homes down. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. I'll go to school committee member Cyril DeBibio. I don't know if I got that right. Cyril, do you have anything?
Yeah. I appreciate James showing up. That's pretty important right there, and no one else is, and he seems to have the enthusiasm, the vested interest to do his best, and I agree with him as far as how we as a team need to work well with the receiver and show that we can, in turn, be responsible enough as a committee to not require receivership anymore. So I think he's on the right track that way, and it seems like he's got the enthusiasm, and I support his appointment.
Thanks, sir. And thank you for putting your name forward as a write-in candidate to join the school committee.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that as well. Is Mr. Bishop or Mr. Thomo from the school committee online at all? Okay. And I guess I have left on council is Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Melillo for coming forward, for stepping up. It's not an easy thing to do. People now know who you are, and when you start getting the phone calls, it's all fun. So good luck to you, best wishes, and welcome aboard.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Mr. Melillo, thank you for putting your name forward. I certainly do appreciate it. With your appointment this evening, it will be the first time I think that the Southbridge School Committee has a full slate of members for a number of years. I'm a firm believer that exactly what you said earlier is exactly my sentiment, that in order for us to come out of receivership, the first step is to have a fully functional school committee that, even though there are no powers vested in the school committee at this time, it's important that we show the state that we do have the ability and the capacity and residents that are fully able to participate in the process, because the state is simply not, no matter what we do, a referendum or anything else, the state is not just going to turn around and hand the reins over to a member board if they're not a functioning board. And I think my personal experience with the receiver has been one of positive relationship building, and I'm sure, and in talking to him, his belief is to have a positive relationship with the new school committee as well, and hopefully that goes forward throughout this year, especially with all the challenges that are put before us with this pandemic and COVID-19. So thank you very much for putting your name forward. I look forward to meeting with you personally and discussing this further and working with you. So thank you very much. And if there's no other comments at this time, I'll entertain a motion to appoint James Malello to the Southbridge School Committee effective immediately through June 8th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there
I'll second that.
Second. Seconded by Councilor Steves. Any further discussion on the appointment of Mr. James Malello to fill this position?
Chairman, if I may, through you, I also wanted to extend my thank you and congratulations to Mr. Malello for stepping up. And I also believe that this is going to be the first time in a long period of time that the school committee is made up of a majority of parents with school-age children, which I also think is very important, working alongside former educators and administrators to help give a very welcomed perspective into what we truly need to work on with the receiver. So I appreciate you, Mr. Malello, for stepping up. Thank you very much. That is all.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Catrona?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Jovan?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Steves?
Yes.
Ms. Shea?
Yes.
Mr. Murch?
Yes.
Ms. Angers?
Yes.
And Mr. Demiglio?
Yes.
Okay. Unanimous of all present. So congratulations. We look forward to working with you in the upcoming year, and hopefully you pull papers to run again. You have a long tenure in the town of Southbridge. So thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Good luck.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Catrona?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Jovan?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Steves?
Yes.
Ms. Shea?
Yes.
Mr. Murch?
Yes.
Ms. Angers?
Yes.
And Mr. Demiglio?
Yes.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.